JKB back with another episode. Today on the show, I'm reviewing the Wonderful 101 Remastered. Thank you to Platinum Games for sending over the review copy. 6 years ago, Platinum Games released the Wonderful 101 onto the Wii U in hopes of bringing something different to the system. Something a little strange and perhaps something a little unexpected. As many of you know, Platinum Games have perfected the action hack and slash genre over the years. This is a studio with tremendous talent and incredible vision. When the game was released onto the Wii U, it wasn't exactly a failure in terms of the game itself. The issue was releasing it onto a sinking ship. Now the remaster is back after a very successful Kickstarter campaign. They've added the title of Remaster, and while this is definitely the definitive version of the game, I'm not exactly sure why they've decided to call it a remaster, since you don't really notice much of a change in terms of the visuals of the game itself. I think calling it the definitive version would have made more sense. For anyone who hasn't played the Wonderful 101, let me break it down for you. Story-wise, Earth is in its third war against an evil alien organization that's trying to invade the planet. The hope is that a group of superheroes known as the Wonderful Ones can save the planet. During gameplay, you take control of a horde of superheroes and turn them into various objects and weapons called Unity Morphs. As you progress through the game, you'll be able to save citizens and recruit them to join your army of heroes. The more heroes in your group, the greater the morphing powers can be. You'll use these morphing powers to defeat enemies, solve puzzles, and even use as tools within the environment. There's one very interesting thing about this game getting released on the current generation of systems. The original game used the gamepad on the Wii U as a second screen for an input for which weapon you'd like to morph your heroes into. You simply draw a circle on the screen and you'll morph into a fist. You draw a straight line and you'll morph into a sword. It was a very unique gameplay element for the Wii U, and it's very interesting how they brought that over. But how did they bring that gameplay mechanic over to current generation? Well, you know, for the PC and the PlayStation 4 version, you simply use the right analog stick and draw on the screen. Now in handheld mode for the Switch, you're able to draw directly onto the screen, which is a lot like the Wii U. There's also a second screen feature that was featured on the Wii U gamepad that let you pick which hero you'd want to lead your army during the gameplay. And that's been brought over using a picture-in-picture system that can be turned on and off and kind of customized. At first I thought this was not a great idea because it was blocking my screen, but I soon realized that putting a secondary gameplay menu into kind of a box that pops up on screen, you could turn it on and off, that was kind of actually a really great idea, and I found myself, okay, I want to switch over, I just do it, and that would be the end of it. I just get it off the screen. It works. I mean, I don't think it would work for all games out there, but it works for this one. Now, if you've been wondering what it's like to actually draw simple lines and circles using the right analog stick, well, it does take a little time to get the feel of it, but once you've gotten past that learning curve, you'll kind of forget that you're even doing it at times, and during heavy battle, you just simply do it and it happens and it feels great. The idea here is to use these weapons as you would in any other hack and slash, but the only difference here is that you're not hitting a button to switch weapons, you're drawing them out in real time on screen to switch weapons. Now, this sounds a little complicated, doesn't it? Well, the actual mechanic isn't once you've gotten the hang of it. There's a learning curve, you'll get over it, and it feels great. I think the issue with the game has to be, and always has been, where and when do you use these weapons and why? The game doesn't really do much to help you as you slowly progress into the levels. You're almost left to figure it out by yourself. And I know some will say that this is terrible. How could they do this? It's horrible in a game like this. Well, how dare you make it? You know, well, I sort of agree with that statement, but a game that has deep combat design using a very strange mechanic to switch the weapons should definitely have better learning tools or better use of visual language within the game. Weapon interaction is the most important part of this world. Look for clues. When you see a ball-shaped enemy on screen, switch to your gun weapon. Do the enemies have heavy armor? Well, switch to your fist weapon and first knock it off. The interactions are hardly explained to you during the opening levels of the game, almost leaving them to be discovered by the player, which can be considered kind of a poor choice in game design. And again, I'll admit, I found the learning curve of this game to be tough to master, but if you can get past that, you will find an action game like nothing you've ever played before. All the parts are here, but you'll have to discover how it all works together. I should also point out that this isn't the best looking remake you'll ever see. The camera can be extremely frustrating at times, and as I've said, the game doesn't hold your hand at all numerous times in this review. I can see why so many people look at this game and only focus on the underwhelming parts of the game. Now, you may think I've spent too much time talking about the negative side of this game. Well, it's kind of important that I tell you that it exists in the game, and some people might be frustrated with a learning curve that is this steep. However, if you're into hack and slash games and you want to jump into something new, because we all know we're all sitting around doing not much, well, this is the game that you do want to pick up. Even if you think it's going to be difficult to master, that's part of the challenge. Now, I'm not saying that that's a plus to the game. I'm saying that yes, the game has flaws in its design, but once you do master its design, oh, you will not have an experience like this in any other hack and slash. There's two reasons you need to play the Wonderful 101 Remaster. The first reason is the sense of humor is spot on. It's such a wacky action game with over-the-top characters, and you know it's hard to make me smile, guys, and this game made it happen. The second reason is the combat. If this was like 1993, I'd call it the fun factor, dudes. And I tell you how rad it feels using this drawing on screen at the perfect time to switch weapons. I mean, the action is just non-stop. The combat is as crazy as you would expect it to be. The amount of fun you get out of this game is unlike any other hack and slash games out there at this very moment. Some would say that this is the best action hack and slash game ever made? Maybe. I did see a few people say that when it originally came out. Now, that statement comes directly out of the unique gameplay mechanics. Due to the fact that the game is so much fun, once you realize what the mechanics are and how to use them, and you get the timing down, and it's just a blast. There's something so unique about this game because it feels like, yes, Platinum Games designed this game with crazy ideas in mind. Like, I don't want to spoil things for you guys, but it's like a cartoon come to life with just wacky and zany moments with amazing action scenes that really come together to make this feeling. It's about a feeling, guys. When you're playing a hack and slash game and you pull off a combo, you know what I'm talking about. When you pull off a serious kick-ass combo in a video game, you feel good. And this game is just full of those moments, and I think that's what gaming really is about. It's about playing a game that makes you feel good. I mean, yeah, there's other experiences out there, but I'm talking about a hack and slash adventure game with little characters on screen that create massive weapons. I mean, we're not getting serious here. We're just playing a video game. So in all, I gotta say, do you pick this up? Well, if you have a Switch, I would suggest to get it for the Switch because you could draw onto the screen, and that's kind of what this game was designed around in the first iteration. But if you have it on PlayStation 4 or PC, yes, you can still use it. It still works okay. It's just not as good as maybe on the Switch. Visually, I'm not impressed. It doesn't look like it's been remastered, I'm being honest, and they didn't add too much. Yes, they did try to add a few little things to make the game feel like it's a remastered version of the game, like adding a little bit help at the beginning. You know, I don't want to get into it, but they basically gave you some things that were usually locked. You had to spend some of the currency in game to get. They now give it to you at the beginning. It's basically how you dodge and you block. They give that to you. In the old game, they didn't give that to you at the beginning. So there are moments where you go, okay, they did change a little here and there, but in all, I'm going to give it a solid, because, you know, the original is solid, an 8 out of 10. Highly suggested for the Wii. As I have a stroke, I'm going to go back to grinding this game out, because I can't believe how much fun it is just jumping in, grinding, and collecting. It's mind-blowing. So, highly recommend if you're into that. If not, go play something else. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of JKB, which might be The Last of Us 2 or Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Switch. So I hope I get those for review. If not, I'll see you in 2029, if we're all still here. Love ya.